In 1997, Diana received a terrifying message from a psychic. A great loss is coming. Stay away from cars. Diana took this warning seriously, but she couldn't escape. Could her spiritual connections have truly helped her? Before we explore Diana's relationship with the spiritual world, please consider subscribing to the Diana Stories and hitting the like button. Your support helps us tell these fascinating chapters in Diana's life. Princess Diana's interest in spirituality, astrology, and psychic guidance is one of the lesser-known aspects of her life. While the palace tried to keep this private, those close to Diana knew she regularly consulted astrologers, tarot readers, and spiritual advisors. For Diana, these weren't entertainment. They were serious attempts to find guidance during the most difficult periods of her life. The beginning of Diana's spiritual journey. Diana's interest in spirituality developed gradually during the early years of her marriage, when she felt increasingly isolated and desperate for guidance. The royal family couldn't provide the emotional support she needed. Charles was distant and focused on Camilla. The Queen and other royals saw Diana's emotional needs as weakness. In 1983, a friend suggested Diana speak with an astrologer named Penny Thornton. Diana was skeptical but curious. She was struggling with bulimia, her marriage was failing, and she felt completely lost. That first consultation changed something in Diana. Penny Thornton told Diana things about herself that felt deeply true, things Diana had never articulated to anyone. Penny Thornton became Diana's regular astrologer for several years. Diana would call Penny during moments of crisis, seeking guidance about decisions both large and small. She would ask about her marriage, about Charles's feelings, about her children's futures, about her own path and purpose. The palace disapproved strongly. They viewed astrology as superstitious nonsense, inappropriate for a royal. But Diana didn't care. She was finding something valuable in these consultations, something the palace couldn't provide. Thornton claims she warned Diana multiple times about difficulties ahead, seeing challenging patterns in Diana's chart. But astrology speaks in symbols and possibilities, not concrete predictions. The psychics and mediums. As Diana's spiritual interests deepened, she began consulting psychics and mediums. These consultations were kept even more secret because the palace would have been horrified. One psychic Diana consulted regularly was Rita Rogers, a well-known British medium. Diana was introduced to Rogers through a mutual friend in the mid-1990s. Rita Rogers later described Diana as desperate for messages from the spirit world. Diana wanted to know about her future, about whether she would find love again, about whether her sons would be okay. Rogers claims she received messages for Diana from spirits. Another spiritual advisor was Simone Simmons, who described herself as an energy healer and psychic. Simmons became close to Diana during the last years of her life. According to Simmons, Diana believed in spiritual energy and in the possibility of receiving guidance from beyond the physical world. The 1997 warning. The most controversial spiritual consultation Diana had was in early 1997, just months before her death. Multiple sources, including Rita Rogers, claim they warned Diana about danger, specifically related to cars and travel. Rita Rogers has stated publicly that she told Diana in early 1997 that she saw danger ahead, specifically involving a vehicle and a tunnel. According to Rogers, Diana took this warning seriously and expressed fear about it. Simone Simmons has made similar claims, stating that she sensed dark energy around Diana and warned her to be cautious. The problem with these claims is that they're impossible to verify. We have only the psychic's words that they gave these warnings. There are no recordings, no written records. We don't know if these warnings were as specific as claimed, or if they've been refined in hindsight after Diana's death. Diana's belief system. Diana genuinely believed in spiritual guidance and psychic intuition. Paul Burrell, Diana's butler and close confidant, described Diana's spiritual beliefs extensively. According to Burrell, Diana believed in energy healing, in the power of positive thinking, in astrology, and in some form of life after death. Diana had assembled her own spiritual framework that borrowed from multiple traditions. She was interested in alternative healing, in meditation, in crystals and energy work. To the traditional royal family, this seemed bizarre. To Diana, it was a lifeline. She also learned to read tarot cards herself and would do readings for friends occasionally. The palace's reaction. The royal family's reaction was consistently negative. They viewed it as embarrassing and evidence of Diana's instability. Prince Philip reportedly called Diana's consultations with psychics absolute nonsense and evidence that she was emotionally unbalanced. Charles was similarly dismissive, though he had his own spiritual interests, but he drew a firm line at psychics and mediums, which he considered superstitious. The palace staff was instructed to discourage Diana's spiritual consultations. Phone calls from known psychics were sometimes accidentally not put through. But Diana was stubborn about this. Her spiritual consultations were one of the few areas where she maintained autonomy despite palace pressure. The question of premonition. Did Diana have genuine premonitions about her death? Several pieces of evidence suggest Diana had feelings of impending doom in the months before her death. First, there's the famous letter Diana wrote to Paul Burrell in October 1996, 10 months before her death. In this letter, Diana wrote that Charles was planning an accident in my car, brake failure and serious head injury. This wasn't presented as a psychic vision, but as a fear based on her assessment. Second, multiple friends stated that Diana seemed increasingly anxious and fearful in 1997. Rosa Monckton said Diana expressed unusual fear about her safety during this period. Diana reportedly said she felt something bad was coming. Third, the spiritual advisor's claims about warning Diana. If we accept their accounts as accurate, Diana received multiple warnings from psychics about danger involving cars in the months before her death. The question is whether these constitute genuine premonition or a combination of reasonable fear given Diana's circumstances, anxiety from stress, and post-event reinterpretation of vague warnings. Alternative explanations. Skeptics point out that Diana had many good reasons to be fearful in 1997 without requiring psychic premonitions. She was in a messy divorce from the future king. She was in conflict with the most powerful family in Britain. She was being aggressively pursued by paparazzi. She was dating Dodi Fayed, which some viewed as controversial. Diana's fears about accidents can be understood as rational assessment rather than psychic insight. People in power have historically used accidents to remove inconvenient people. The psychic's warnings, if they happened, were vague enough to apply to many situations. Be careful with cars and danger ahead are not specific predictions. Diana's friends noticing she seemed fearful could reflect Diana's actual situation rather than premonition. She was under enormous stress, fighting for her divorce settlement, worried about her sons, and being hunted by paparazzi. Fear was reasonable. The spiritual community's claims. After Diana's death, many psychics came forward claiming they had predicted it. Rita Rogers published a book about her relationship with Diana. Other psychics, who may never have met Diana, also claimed to have foreseen her death. This created a situation where separating genuine consultations from opportunistic claims became difficult. Even among those who genuinely did consult with Diana, there's the question of memory and interpretation. Has their memory been influenced by knowing what eventually happened? The role of desperation. Diana's spiritual consultations came from desperation. She was a woman with limited control over her life, trapped in an impossible situation, with few people she could trust. The spiritual advisors offered something the royal establishment couldn't: empathy, validation, and hope. When you're living where everyone is criticizing or controlling you, finding someone who listens without judgment becomes incredibly valuable. Whether or not their psychic abilities were real, they performed a therapeutic function. They helped Diana process feelings, consider options, and feel less alone. Scientific perspective. From a scientific perspective, there's no credible evidence that psychic abilities, astrological predictions, or communication with spirits work. Numerous studies have failed to demonstrate genuine psychic phenomena. What science does show is that people perceive patterns when none exist, especially under stress. Confirmation bias makes us remember predictions that seemed to come true while forgetting those that didn't. Vague warnings can be interpreted to fit almost any subsequent event. Cold reading techniques allow practitioners to appear psychic when they're using psychological cues and educated guesses. Did it help or harm? Diana's spiritual consultations helped her. They provided emotional support and gave Diana tools for coping with extreme stress. They helped her feel less alone and more in control. However, relying on psychic guidance rather than professional mental health treatment may have delayed Diana from getting psychological help she needed. Additionally, some psychics may have encouraged Diana's fears and paranoia rather than helping her develop realistic perspectives. The aftermath. After Diana's death, her spiritual advisors faced criticism and scrutiny. Some were accused of exploiting Diana's vulnerability. Rita Rogers defended her consultations, insisting they were genuine attempts to help. She published her book partly to set the record straight. Simone Simmons also wrote about Diana, describing her friendship and Diana's spiritual beliefs. Paul Burrell included descriptions of her spiritual interests in his books, treating Diana's beliefs respectfully as a legitimate part of who she was. What can we conclude? Several things can be said with confidence. First, Diana genuinely consulted astrologers, psychics, and spiritual advisors regularly. This is confirmed by multiple independent sources. Second, Diana found value in these consultations.
They provided her with emotional support and hope during dark periods.
Third, Diana did express fears about her safety in 1997, as evidenced by her letter to Paul Burrell and statements to friends. Whether these fears were based on psychic premonitions, rational assessment, or anxiety is impossible to determine definitively. Fourth, some spiritual advisors did warn Diana about danger, though the specificity and timing is disputed and impossible to verify independently. What we cannot conclude with certainty is whether Diana had genuine premonitions or received authentic supernatural warnings. These questions enter the realm of belief rather than evidence. A final thought. Diana's spiritual journey reveals a woman searching desperately for guidance in an impossible situation. Whether her psychics provided genuine, supernatural insight or simply emotional support, they served a real need in Diana's life. Diana's spiritual beliefs don't make her foolish or unstable. They make her human, someone grasping for understanding and control in a life that often felt overwhelming. In searching for spiritual guidance, Diana was doing what humans have done for thousands of years, seeking meaning, connection, and hope in the face of uncertainty. Disclaimer: this video explored Diana's documented consultations with spiritual advisors. While Diana's interest in these practices is confirmed by multiple sources, claims about specific predictions cannot be independently verified. There is no scientific evidence supporting psychic abilities. This content explores Diana's personal beliefs without endorsing supernatural phenomena claims.